President-elect Trump had more talks last night with Secretary of State candidate Mitt Romney. They had dinner with future White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus in New York. The former GOP nominee, who called Mr. Trump a phony and a fraud in the campaign, said they had a wonderful evening.
These discussions I've had with him have been enlightening and interesting and engaging. I've enjoyed them very, very much.
Mr. Trump confirmed yesterday that he wants Congressman Tom Price to be Health and Human Services Secretary and former Labor Secretary Elaine Chao to head the Department of Transportation. Sources tell CBS News the president-elect will also nominate Steve Mnuchin as Treasury Secretary and billionaire investor Wilbur Ross as Commerce Secretary. Donald Trump tweeted a short time ago that he will formally give up control of his business empire. He wrote this: "It is visually important as president to in no way have a conflict of interest." Major Garrett is covering the transition and the Secretary of State discussions and joins us with the latest on that now. Major, good morning.
Good morning. President-elect Trump said in that string of tweets that he will have a press conference on December 15th to explain to the country exactly how he's going to unwind his connections to his business empire, not only here in the United States, but globally. This has been, I'm told by transition officials, in the works for days, and it will take a good long while to do all the legal work necessary to unwind Trump's connections to his vast business empire and real estate holdings and branded properties around the world. That's why the press conference won't be held until December 15th. Many details have to be disclosed and dissected, but this appears to be Trump's way of saying he will completely disassociate himself from all of his business holdings. One thing I'm told, however, this will not include any disclosure of tax returns from Mr. Trump. Now, back to the ongoing business of the transition. There was that dinner in New York last night with Mitt Romney, a candidate for Secretary of State, and he did say, Romney, that he was impressed with the conversation, and the rest of the Trump cabinet, well, it's filling up before our very eyes. President-elect Donald Trump held his second meeting with Mitt Romney, this one over French cooking inside his Trump International Hotel. Also on the menu, Secretary of State.
He did something I tried to do and was unsuccessful in accomplishing. He won the general election, and he continues with a message of inclusion and bringing people together.
Sources tell CBS News Mr. Trump's choices are Romney, retired General David Petraeus, and Rudy Giuliani. Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chairman Bob Corker, who met with Mr. Trump yesterday, underscored the importance of cabinet cohesion.
The world needs to know that the Secretary of State is someone who speaks fully for the president.
Elsewhere in the cabinet, the president-elect went with insiders and Washington power brokers. Steve Mnuchin will be Mr. Trump's pick for Secretary of Treasury. Mnuchin is a former Goldman Sachs partner, movie producer, and Democratic donor. He served as candidate Trump's campaign finance chairman, but has never held a position in the U.S. government. Elaine Chao was nominated as transportation secretary. Chao served 8 years as labor secretary for President George W. Bush and is married to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.
Have you accepted the job as Commerce Secretary?
Mr. Trump also intends to nominate 79-year-old businessman Wilbur Ross to lead the Commerce Department. With a net worth of almost $3 billion, Ross has made his fortune buying and turning around distressed companies in bankruptcy. Ross told Charlie Rose in a 2010 interview he believes reviving American manufacturing is critical to the country's global economic standing.
I really feel that within 5 or 10 years, we could be a second-rate power.
The head of the transition, Vice President-elect Mike Pence, will be in Washington today for meetings with House Speaker Paul Ryan and Senator Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader. Charlie?
Major, what factors do you think the president-elect is weighing in consideration of these three men for Secretary of State?
Well, it's an elaborate process, and I'm told it's not going to be completed today. It may bleed over into next week. And what Trump is essentially looking at is someone he is comfortable with, someone he believes he can represent the country well and be loyal to him. That's the factor that's most problematic for Romney. Now, for Rudy Giuliani, he has been long considered the favorite for this post, but he was offered 2 other positions in the Trump cabinet, Attorney General and Homeland Security. Turned them down, I'm told, only once Secretary of State. That makes this decision more complicated. I would say General Petraeus has been rising in the estimation of Mr. Trump and those around him in the last couple of days, but this decision is not nearly made, and those closest to the decision-making process do not have powerful insights as to where Trump is ultimately going to land.
Thanks, Major.